daylight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. End of the weekend is here, but let's face it, there ain't no fucking weekend when you're calving out or you're trying to just survive this fucking winter. Goddamn, it's been shitty, but we got blue skies today, and we had a shit cleaning crew, and I've got a I think they got 3 full pins mucked out today, and a lot of progress done. So it was a beautiful sight to behold. And then we got Ryan Whitaker joining us, the show from Nebraska, correct?
That is right. Eastern
Awesome.
side, yeah, about 45 minutes northwest of Omaha.
Okay, so you're kind of like in like the original like farmer feeder country.
Yeah, pretty heavy on feeder right around here. I'm just a county south of Cumming County, and they're always up there in top counties in the country on cattle on feed.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, we were chatting right before we went live here, and you said you started your kind of music journey on Jason Boland and Casey Donahue. That's
right. That would have been like 04, 05. Okay. I originally from North Carolina, but we went to Texas a lot, and I was riding bulls back then, and sponsored by a guy that sold gooseneck brand trailers, and they were out of College Station or Bryan, Texas, right there by College Station. Mm-hmm. So we'd go down there and get trailers, and Casey Donahue would always be playing right around there, and kind of started nice. the red dirt country.
It's the best music on earth. I believe, anyways. It's or at least it's the best scene on earth.
For sure.
There's not a better scene that I can think of, except like I'm not into I'm just not that huge into hip hop. I listen to a lot of rap, but like I feel like those underground scenes, you know, like different cities have like their little underground hip hop scene. I feel that's like the closest thing you'll get to red dirt, but red dirt's like that. It's just it's a cool scene, cool community that comes out of it.
You can listen to it every day, and those people that say they hate country, well, it's kind of, they hate pop country, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They haven't found red dirt yet.
Yeah, or they hate old country, you know, where like just old, slow, sad songs. And I love that shit, but I hate pop country. I haven't listened to the radio since the iPod was invented.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, so I started on the Great Divide. They played down at Guyman for Pioneer Days, and me and a couple of buddies went over there and listened to Great Divide, and of course then from there you get into Ragweed, and then to Boland, and then Reckless Kelly, and then just down the rabbit hole you go. And I got old enough now where I don't keep up on the scene. I just kind of listen to what I know. Like I'm always open to new music, but I'm not like actively seeking it out anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I can't say much on the rap, though. I listen to a lot of rap.
I listen to a bunch, too, but it's like it's
2000s.
Yeah, 2000s and 90s rap. Like I love old school. The Snoop Doggy Dogg album.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, for sure.
So good. Snoop Dogg might be the coolest person on earth. I can't.
Probably. I mean, he's up there.
He like him. Willie's up there. He's Sam Elliott also, like, that's another guy who can't really do much wrong.
Yeah,
he's cool.
I don't know. I saw him wearing a scarf the other day, though. Like, not a wild rag. We're talking a straight up scarf, and that kind of bothered me.
Like,
but I'm an asshole like that.
I don't. You got to just remember he's Hollywood, but he's cool. Dan Hartman. Dan Hartman might be one of the coolest guys alive. Fucking guy. Dude. He goes through Facebook accounts like I go through underwear. I mean,
I don't even think I'm caught up with him because I think I've missed a few accounts at this point.
Probably so. He messaged me the other day and he is like, I got a new account. And I was like, you're unstoppable. Freaking guy. Yeah, so we've been how old a guy are you? Yeah, I feel like you're right around my age.
36.
Okay, I'll be 38 this year. So yeah, we're riding that same era. So that you caught Casey Donahue when I was in college, and I remember that the song "High." That's probably that
was the original, man.
In guitar, like that's the song I could probably play the best is "High."
Yeah,
it's really easy to play, but it's catchy, and I almost went insane for about 3 months. It was my, I think, junior year of college. I heard that song at a party, and this was before the Shazam deal. And of course, then it was at a party, so I remember the song. I didn't ask anybody who it was. I just like, I'll remember that. And I went all over on the internet trying to find out who it was, and it finally popped up on it was like iTunes, like suggested music or something like that. And I finally found it. I was like, oh, but it was easily like 3 months where I was about to go insane because I could not find who sang that song, and it was.
I think I LimeWired it.
Yeah, but I didn't know who it was. It was just once I found out who it was, I was down on my roommate Rob's computer. I'm sure his computer is. I mean, like it got really slow real quick.
That had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it, but I have LimeWire. But well, kids don't know.
They don't know how hard it was.
You weren't downloading from anything but a T3 connection either.
Yeah, you could watch it and get some stuff done while you did it.
Yeah. It was cool in college where they had fast internet, but back home in the sticks where we had the dial up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it would take days to download a song.
Nobody touch it. Don't touch it. Don't even go in there.
And then your mom would pick the phone up and get off the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good old days.
Funny story about that. How I actually started listening to him. So I was underage at the time, obviously. Well, we got into a bar because we got there early enough. They were playing that night. I didn't know who they were, and we got in because they served food too. But we were just gonna kind of sneak around the back and stay afterwards.
Mm.
And there were some guys playing pool upstairs, and there was a bunch of pool tables. It's down there in College Station, and guys like, hey, yeah, you guys staying for the show? And I'm like, well, if we can make it. And he's like, well, I'm Casey Donahue. And I'm like, okay, who the fuck's that? And then we stay and watch them. Like, all right, they're pretty cool. And we didn't talk to him other than that. That was it. But, and then, we stayed and watched. And yeah, High was like the first song. I think they opened with it that night. And same kind of deal. Went back and had to search and LimeWire it. And yeah.
Yeah, it just drove me crazy though, because I had no idea who sang it. I knew it was Texas. You can tell by the voice.
Yeah.
But and it was and that it bugged me because I was like the red dirt king of Colorado State University back in the day. Like everybody I knew had one of my mix CDs of and it was just like a red dirt mix, and like people would like they would ask me like have you heard this guy, and I'm like, oh yeah, fun. Then like I was that guy. I was way more into music than I was school. Like I did fine in school, but like I probably could have graduated with honors if I had spent half the time studying that I did like looking up music.
And like I said, that was my first. That's what got me down the rabbit hole. So it was like 3 songs. It was like "Hi" by Casey Donahue, and then we went to them Boys from Oklahoma, and then what else was it? There was like one more that was like just stuck on it. I don't remember, but "Ragged as the Road," maybe. I don't remember, but
oh yeah, "Reckless Kelly," that was a good one.
And then it was just, yeah.
I went to 3 different Ragweed concerts before I actually got to play or see them play. I got kicked out before they got on stage. The first underage. But I got to see Mickey and the Motor Cars, and it was I didn't know their music well enough to like I knew Ragweed a little bit, and but like Mickey and the Motors Cars came on, and I didn't know that's who was playing. I just I was like, this doesn't sound like Ragweed, but I love it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and then I got kicked out for. I actually wasn't even drinking at the time. I was just holding somebody else's beer, and didn't matter. They kicked my ass out. Yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah, and then the other time I probably deserved it, but anyways, the third time I saw him play, I was a huge fan of him at that point. One of the more disappointing concerts I'd ever been to, though. Like they were just not very good live. I didn't, and I just don't care for Ragweed live or Cody Canada. I've seen him live several times now, and I'm just like, I'd rather listen to him in my pickup,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
He's not a show, but like I will drive a long way to go watch Jason Boland play. Same way with Orb Turnpike. I mean, I bought $250 a seat tickets at Red Rocks to see Turnpike. I mean, I'll go through some hoops for guys that put on a show, and
man, I'll tell you who puts on a hell of a show, and that's Ian Munsick and Ryan Charles. You listen to any of their stuff?
I've a little bit, like Ian Munsick's getting real poppy, but he's just
yeah, you're not wrong, but man, we went to some of the, like when that Ryan Charles was first starting, I didn't even know who he was. We went to an Ian Munsick show. It was down in Omaha, actually at the Bentley dealership, Bentley dealership. And man, it was a hell of a show. But after the show, they were out in the crowd drinking beer with everybody. Like, it's a good show.
Are there people that can afford Bentleys in Omaha?
In Omaha, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they come from somewhere else. But
I mean, I guess Omaha's like old school packing country too. So
yeah, I mean, the Omaha stockyards were huge, but they're no more.
Yeah, that's big money though. Those I had this history of the meat packing industry is got me down a rabbit hole, man. Like,
oh man, I dig it. This right up my alley. The meat packing one, yeah.
But oh yeah, so I've seen Cody Canada play, and I like his music a lot. I don't like him as a person at all. I've just from what I've seen in concerts, and I met him at Braun Brothers reunion, and like he's nice enough. He just like I know that I would not like that guy if I hung out with him. I just know
there's always those. You just got to take them at face value and be like, I like your music, and we're going to stop there because I would hate you otherwise.
Yeah, but then there's like I feel like me and Evan Felker would be really good friends. Like I've called Corb Lund my best friend for a long time. But like, and I've met Corbin. We've talked and like I know that guy's pretty cool. Like he's a weird guy, but like that's a cool son of a bitch.
I mean, he's Canadian, so that gives him a little bit, you know.
You set the bar pretty low, you know.
Exactly.
So when they're pretty cool, you know, then it just seems like they're even cooler just because you set the bar low already.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, like you guys elected Trudeau multiple.
Yeah. There's that.
I feel like you've earned the shit talking at this point.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. But then when we get into elections, you know, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. So.
Yeah. I've got a strike on YouTube already, so we'll just say that when I believe that Joe Biden is the president of the United States. He won that election.
I agree. I will agree with that.
Yeah. And then we'll just leave that election nonsense alone because I don't care that much about it. I don't have a strong enough opinion one way or the other, and it's not worth getting another strike over. So
I hear you. We'll let that one go.
Yeah, like I said, you guys elected Trudeau multiple times. I feel like I feel like you've earned all the shit talking that we give you at this point. I know we elected Biden and we deserve some sort of shit talking, but I mean, come on, you're still Canada.
I just want to point out that, you know, Canada tried to silence an American last week on YouTube and it didn't work out for them.
Did they?
Have you seen that deal?
Sean
Ryan, you know who that is? Sean Ryan show.
The name sounds familiar. Is he a military guy?
Yeah, he was a SEAL. Yeah, he had the Canadian sniper on that. I don't want to mess it up, but if I recall right, he left the military in Canada because he would not get the vaccine. But and Sean had him on his show, and Canada sent him like a cease and desist, basically.
Really?
Yeah, and
like security secrets or what?
Well, no, it was just because that's what they were trying to claim, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't fly because Sean posted all of his like letters between his attorney in Canada and everything, so you can go check it out. But I don't want to say the wrong stuff, so go check it out sometime when you get a chance.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's funny, crazy. That you know, I just want to know the story. Like at this point, like the game is up. They did what they were gonna do on COVID. I just want to know like what actually happened. What was the end goal? Like at this point, it's just out of curiosity's sake. I know nobody's gonna no heads are gonna roll over it.
Oh no,
and nobody will see jail time. So no. I'll you know what? I'll grant them that. Just like let me know what was it and what it was. How'd you do it and why?
Exactly.
I just feel a lot better if that's the case. And you're like, all right. So now it'll at least give me a better way to prepare to not pay them any money, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but like where we live, and it didn't affect me really like at all. And I know it affected a lot of people, but I mean, the main thing that pissed me off was like school with my kids. But other than that, it was ops normal for us.
Well, it was, like normal life was fine. It was just anytime I wanted to go anywhere, I was just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was that.
It's just like you go get on the airplane and you're just like, oh, shit. Yeah, I guess people do wear masks all the time. Fuck. All right. And then, it was just a series of minor annoyances more than anything.
Yeah, that and the division it caused. I mean, that was completely uncalled for, but
and it was so dumb and like, and it was very apparent if you looked at it with a somewhat educated, open mind that it was like this thing's really not. It's not that bad for most people.
Yeah.
for most of the people, it's not that bad. And then they're like, no, you got to take a shot or you'll lose your job. And you're like, oh, the fuck I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was just, yeah, it was what a wild time.
Yeah.
And now, like, I just find it very convenient how they're all of a sudden, like, the government recognizes that it probably came from the Wuhan lab, right as we're like doing like naval drills in the South China Sea, and
everything's real convenient.
Yeah, it's like they're all of a sudden they're as Mark Milley was saying, like, Ukraine's gonna have to come to the negotiating table here pretty soon. And they're like, yeah, wrap it up, Ukraine. We got to go fight China now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a what a train wreck of a
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a bigger one.
No, and then like
literal train wrecks.
Yeah, literal train wrecks. Yeah. I'm still waiting on my turtles and the rat from East Palace.
Nobody shipped those yet?
Not yet.
Come on, Ohio.
I know. What the fuck?
That's a shitty state anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they probably have very big rats there. It's not like New York City rats, but I mean,
yeah.
You ever been in New York City?
I've never been to New York City, no.
It's I recommend going one time. I'd probably wait till they get somebody who's ready to crack some heads in as mayor, because right now it's probably not real safe.
Right now, yeah, no. I mean, I lived just outside of New Orleans for 3 years, so yeah.
Oh no. Right. How was that?
Well, I was like, let's see, 20, 22, 23, 24-ish, I think. So it was a hell of a party, but it's not a place I'd want to live anymore.
Oh man. I see outside of Fort Collins, I've always lived in real small towns. Like, so Walsh, Colorado, about 500 people in the mailing district. I think the town itself, I don't know, a couple hundred, 300 maybe. Big Sandy, Montana, that was about the same. Ulysses, Kansas, they might be 10,000 maybe. I don't think they're that big though. Probably 5,000. Syracuse is about 1,500, and then where I'm now it's about 1,500. So
yeah,
small towns. That's my jam.
Yeah, that's where we're at now. I think the town that our actual address is tied to is like 345. I think somewhere in there.
Now, are you guys in Sand Hills or
no? Not Sand Hill country yet. So we're still in the Plains area.
Okay, I didn't think you guys were that far west, but
I love it out there. But no, we're not that far west yet. Hopefully one day though.
Yeah, Sand Hills. I've only been out there the one time, but it was neat. And then I was out there I went to North Platte and and Curtis. So like kind of edge. Was that there? Would you say that's like the edge of the Sand Hills, kind of?
Yeah, on the other side there. Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't like. You kind of get a little bit of a feeling of it in Curtis because there's a few hills there, but then that panhandle in Nebraska is just flat as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Like that might be the most like miserable country I've ever seen. I've lived in some miserable country.
Guy I used to work for, he used to say you could send your dog after cattle and watch him go for 3 days.
Mm-hmm. And like that's nothing different from home, but the wind and the cold hit harder up in that part of the world,
Yeah, that wind's rough.
I'm used to the wind, but like it gets colder up there than it did where I was at.
Yeah,
that's a miserable part of the world.
You're not wrong, but damn, I love it here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from North Carolina originally, but damn, I love it here.
Yeah. What part of North Carolina?
Mountainside, well, foothills actually, but just Boone's what everybody knows. There's like Boone, Winston-Salem is like kind of the two closest towns that people would actually know, or Statesville. So like that foothills area.
Okay. What like it's pretty heavy woods through there, isn't it?
Heavy woods, yeah. That's when I first came out here, I told my wife there was no trees, and she's like, "Well, there's a tree over there." And then I took her back there, and she's like, "Okay, I see what you mean."
Yeah,
but
it's. I didn't get to see any of North Carolina really, but but it was in the middle of the night, so like we hit the Tennessee line like right around sun up, so like I caught just a little bit of I guess that'd be the Smoky Mountains there, wouldn't it?
Yep, sure would.
Yeah, so I caught a little bit of the North Carolina side of the Smoky Mountains as the sun was coming up, and then going into Tennessee was pretty neat. But yeah, my sister still lives out there. I've never been to North Carolina yet. I've been to South Carolina, but I haven't never went back there to visit them. I've also never been to Iowa either, and one of my other sisters lives there. So,
ooh, man, I don't know which one's worse. I do not like North Carolina. I mean, I used to. I mean, this is where I grew up, but I don't like it anymore.
You guys are like the East Coast Colorado, where it was like kind of like a working class, kind of. I wouldn't say like a real solid Republican state, but like lean Republican just about every election. But then you got invaded by like the Northeast.
Yeah, so like where I'm from, actually I still catch it on Facebook because it pops up every now and then, but they do like a vote of the most conservative county in the state. And it's like routinely the county I'm from.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about, like the Northeast invasion, man, everybody came down there and took tobacco ground because they couldn't plant tobacco anymore, that whole situation, and turned into Christmas tree farms and, vineyards and all that. So, and then if they're not growing Christmas trees or trying to make wine, they're making meth. So, flip a coin.
It's I hate to say it, but I'll take the California migrants over the North, because the Californians don't have that god awful accent. Other than that, they're pretty much identical.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Fuck.
My accent kind of fades, but the more I drink, the more it comes out.
Yeah, California just they invaded Colorado. They're invaded Nevada, invading Idaho. They're just like, the worst part is I don't know what it is about those fucking lefties. It's like they leave someplace that they destroyed with their stupid politics, and then they move somewhere else and vote the exact same shit in.
It's very British of them.
Yeah. British, by the way. I feel like we don't say that enough as Americans. Like, fuck the Brits.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, I don't like that we're allies with them, honestly. I feel like we should hate them more.
I think the other day is Prince Harry said that he thought the First Amendment was bonkers. I think is what he said. And I'm like, well, we don't have to give a fuck what you think.
No, we haven't cared what you've thought for almost 3 centuries now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're over that one.
Hey, we saved you from Hitler, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh.
How about a thank you?
Mm-hmm. Goebbels would have raped your grandmother if he had. I mean, I don't know why. Like, those inbred fuckers. Yeah, I guess if nothing, I could look at Joe Biden and think, God, what a just sad state of affairs. But then I can look and say, like, now you have a King Charles sausage fingers, and you're like, still better than you fuckers. Still got it better than you.
Oh man, I was listening to the Fence Post Politics today on the way back from feeding, and I heard your buddy that you always have on talking about the whole whispering situation. Man, I was dying.
Oh, what a turd. I just, it really makes you miss Trump. Like I I really enjoy some of the clips about Joe Biden, but like it's just kind of sad at this point. You're just like,
oh yeah,
everybody knows what this is. Like just get him out of there so we actually have somebody who's actually calling the shots. Like
sure.
We can be mad at them, but like I don't know who's calling the shots, but it's not that guy.
No, it's not him. No.
And yeah, and so like at least with Trump, you knew he thought he was calling the shots. Like it turns out the deep state was calling most of the shots, but like he at least he was at least a good figurehead for it. Like, no doubt, like this is who was the president, but like, is it Jill? It's not Kamala either, but is it Barack still pulling the strings? Is it Soros? I don't know, but it's not Joe.
Well, I think Jill said he was going to run for re-election, right? But not him.
Yeah.
I thought that was right.
It's weird, fucking weird. But then you look at fucking Prince Harry and King Charles, and you're like, we're still not as stupid as the Brits.
Still a step above that. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. America.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, what a and like honestly though, I'm not sure there's any world leader that I particularly care for at this point. Like Putin's a real piece of shit. Zelensky's a real piece of shit. I don't know who the British guy is anymore. Like at least they can throw their leader out periodically, they.
I mean, isn't it them that has a lot of fights on their not Senate floor, but whatever the hell they call it?
Yeah, Parliament and the
Parliament. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you have the Commons and the Lords, and the House of Lords. You're not allowed to like get all unruly, but the House of Commons, they don't give a fuck.
Can you imagine if there was a fight on our Senate floor? There would be broken hips everywhere, man.
I think maybe we should. Like,
I'd pay to see it for sure.
I want to see Dan Crenshaw fight Thomas Massey. Like Crenshaw beat the fuck out of him, but like Thomas Massey's might have some sort of like jujitsu skills that we don't know about, because he's kind of a savant. So you never know.
Fucking Crenshaw.
What a turd. Whoever came up with Eye Patch McCain as
exactly. Like, I was getting ready to say that, but yeah, for sure.
Such a perfect nickname for him, because he's just he's just the new John McCain.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Nikki Haley, she's Lindsey Graham with bigger balls.
Fucking, you like ruined my night with Lindsey Graham a few weeks ago, man. I don't even want to go down that road again.
Did you look up the Lindsey Graham ladybugs?
Yeah.
Thank God there's no pictures of that or at least. But the story was.
I believe the guy. I think it's true.
Yes, I believe so. He's fucking the dude from House of Cards. Like he's just a gayer version of Kevin. Not Kevin. Is that Kevin Spacey? Yeah, it is Kevin Spacey, isn't it?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a gayer version of that character.
Yeah,
he is like he is Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
yeah.
Just politicians in general.
Gross.
In general.
Gross. So you went to this cattlemen's meeting the other day, or this is like NCBA group?
It's the county affiliate of the NCBA. Yeah.
And you were going in there to raise some hell. What was going on?
Just obligated by work for one. So, but I don't know. It's just like politicians, because that's all they are. You know, they care about the little guy. But then you go on their website and look at, how much your dues are if you have X amount ahead, and then just keep going down the list. And then you get to where you're adding, X amount of dollars per head above that. And then look at what they do throughout the year. I mean, are they there to throw a big ass party in New Orleans, or are they there to actually work for somebody? Because no one really knows, I don't think. I mean,
yeah,
they can throw a party. Yeah, we'll give them that.
They are good at that. I've never been to that deal, but I hear it's a hell of a good time.
Yeah, but what do they accomplish? I mean, it's just more politician, just more politicking, because they just say what you want to hear at the time, but then what gets accomplished. And then I don't think RCAF's any better. I'm not going to say RCAF is. It's just a different color.
And then, they've got the spokesperson / lobbyist for the U.S. cattlemen's is a like raging lefty.
Yeah.
From what I can tell.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
so
I
something
they paying her salary,
Yeah. So something they said the other night was, we can't put down fake meat. Well, why the fuck not? And that's me not being a politician, but
yeah,
at the same time, no, we're not here to support that agenda. Our agenda is getting beef on plates.
Right. And like, we don't have a hard time at doing it either. That's the thing. Like, I don't think you have to do much to push back on the fake meat shit, except point out how fucking weird it is.
Yeah. And
people will most likely be turned away from it. You don't even have to try that hard.
No, you're right. And I mean, what really started my whole disliking NCBA deal was, so I was pretty conservative for a while, like grew up that way and kind of raised that way and stayed that. Well, my wife's pretty libertarian. I mean, she's far libertarian. Well, she started pulling me her way, and now I'm there with her 100%. Yeah. But we were at an NCBA meeting, and I don't know, this was maybe 2 years ago. And the guy speaking said, well, what we really need here, there was a lot of stuff going on that night, people in the audience kind of getting worked up. And the guy said, what we really need is we need the government to put up 2 guardrails for us to stay between, and that way we know where our lane is. And that's when I lost it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, well, and so this is like part of I remember it all started with the Fair Cattle Markets campaign and I just like the whole industry looked like a bunch of fucking assholes on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? And so then like I was like, we got to figure something out. So I had every one of those motherfuckers on. The NCBA guy was the most polished by far, and he talked about whatever it is that NCBA talks about, but it was very politician like. And then you had the RCAF people who make a lot of sense, but also they do not compromise whatsoever. And they're like, man, if they're as long as the compromise is a step in your direction, fucking take it.
Exactly. And you got to play ball to win. I mean,
you're not giving up ground from where we currently are. As long as you're coming our direction, take the deal.
Yeah.
We can always come back again. But no, they're just like, it's all or nothing. And and then like I hear like you get in some of those conversations on Facebook or whatever and like follow through the comments, and they're like, we need to nationalize the beef industry. And like, are you fucking retarded?
Yeah.
Are you retarded? Just like
look at chickens. Look at pork.
I am no fan of the packing industry at all, but you know who I don't want running the packing industry is literal government agents.
Yeah.
Like that like we
Sound good.
That's how famines start.
Yeah. I think Ireland figured that out, right?
Ireland, well, the Soviet Union, they figured it out, but they just didn't have any choice.
Care.
The people running it, they just like, oh, we'll ignore that until it happened. Well, it's amazing that anybody still has like it honestly boggles my mind when people have faith that the government won't like more concentration of the government don't.
Yeah. How's that ever going to work? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like, well, no, they're Russians, so it's different. Like, I will say the local chapter here is doing like the beef in schools, and we're small enough around here that, that's a good thing. And the county cattlemen's is taking beef to the locker, and that locker is processing for the school, and it's getting in there. I mean, that's great, but that's at the county level, and that's how everything should be. Yeah.
I mean, smallest level possible.
I think so too. Like, I think I don't know if I could ever go full anarchist. I just like at some point governments pop up, like how small they are. It just always does. So yeah, I just I want a government so small I can barely see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like they're like it's really funny listening to some of these Republicans push this flat tax that they're trying to get passed.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and they're like, yo, it's a consumption tax. It's way better than income tax. I'm like, okay. But not at 30% you motherfucker.
No. So that's what
I'm not gonna pay $13 for my 6-pack instead of 10. No, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and in the meantime, you're not repealing the income tax. So now they're both going to be on the table. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I thought you're supposed to be the small government guys, huh?
And you wonder how them saying that, how they still think it's a good idea.
I don't know. Like Chip Roy, I just got to I kind of like Chip Roy, but he was like, I'm not voting for any more taxes until the income tax is off the table.
Yeah.
No, he's like, we could talk about a fair tax after we repeal the income tax. Well, fuck yeah. I would say, no, I'm not going to have a conversation about taxes. We're going to repeal the income tax and then leave it at that.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Chip Roy's got a good position. I like that. It's not as far as I'd go, but I like that one.
So one thing I wanted to know the other night, because I heard it just last week from two people that they were, adamantly supported about this H-2A situation. Do you deal with many H-2A guys out there, the South Africans that come over and work on the work visa?
I know a lot of people that do, or that they have worked with them. I don't know if they. I know a lot of people that have, but not really out here.
So
back home though, quite a few.
Yeah, I'll say Nebraska's pretty heavily dependent on it. Really, I mean, a lot of the work that we do, general people don't want to do, and these Republicans go on Laura Ingraham or whatever, and they're saying, well, we're taking jobs away from American people. Well, actually, we're not, or these jobs would be filled. The people don't want to work, so we're going to get people in here that want to work. And then, so I posed that question the other night, and I said, there's two names that are people in this room are pretty fond of that are adamantly against this H-2A deal, and they said they will not budge until it's shut down. And they're like, well, we understand that. Very politic answer. We understand that, there's need for people in the workforce. Okay, that didn't answer my question.
Yeah. No, it's the same way with the at the border. Like the Mexican workers give me Mexican workers all day long. The white boys are lazy as fuck.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want straight from the border Mexicans. I don't want the second, third generations because they become white at this point and they're lazy as fuck.
Well, I came from a dairy and a tobacco farm, and who do you think did most of that work?
Yep. Yeah. Like try finding a white guy that's under middle management at a dairy. Try. I challenge you.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
Oh.
I mean, I still deal with a dairy pretty frequently, and same situation because nobody will work. Nobody wants to do that work
anymore. It's like Guatemalan and El Salvador and Ecuador, or not Ecuador, Guatemala, Nicaragua. That's the other one.
Yeah, we got some. I think they're from Honduras. We got some of those here too.
Honduras too. Yeah. Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua, all of them.
We actually got some neighbors from there, and they don't speak English, and they come up. They keep some cattle in a little chain link pen in their backyard. They'll come up. I was working my horse. I think it was back during the fall, and he comes up, and they don't speak great English, but I mean they're nice enough. But he's like, he just does this, and he acts like he's swinging a rope, and he points that way, and I was like, okay, they're out. Got it.
That's funny. No, and I really don't have any issue with any of them. Like they're
nope.
It's funny. Like I guess I had I had more of I don't know if you call it a luxury or something. I just had a different experience growing up because I had a adopted brother from off the streets of Vietnam and another adopted brother off the streets of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. So they opened my eyes to a lot of different like culture, and like everybody's a little bit racist and deep down, but it's not like, it's usually not a hatred. It's just like you don't know that culture like that. Like it's just a completely different culture, and like we're just tribal as people. So like when you see something you don't understand, you're like, I don't like that.
Yeah, like horses, we're gonna herd up.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, you get like, that's why I won't ever like talk shit on the college experience. I'll talk shit on like the college industrial complex, but like the actual college experience is awesome. I met some of my best friends there, and you just get to see more of the world, and you get to interact with people from different, and particularly if you're coming from a rural area, that's so important.
Well, I only went to a tech school, but I went to the military after that, so it was kind of, you get the same deal.
What branch were you?
Coast Guard. Yes, It's still the military. Damn it.
I guess I've never met anybody that went Coast Guard. How was that?
It was all right. I mean, looking back, it was better than it was while it was happening.
That's funny. So what was your job in the Coast Guard?
I was a machinery technician. Yeah, worked mostly small boats the whole time though. Did like aids to navigation, so like river stuff. That's how I met my wife. I got stationed in Omaha, Nebraska, out of boot camp in the Coast Guard. Not what you would expect.
So Omaha's on the Missouri River, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's a big fucking river.
It is. They've closed it now this far up to commercial traffic, but at the time, that's why there was a Coast Guard base there, because it was open to commercial traffic.
Yeah. Is it due to the water level, or just?
I think it's just the lack of what's up here anymore. I mean, they used to ship a lot of grain, a lot of fertilizer down this river from up this way, but they just don't anymore. I mean, it goes on rail, or it goes on trucks, and yeah.
It's I don't ever, you don't think of Omaha much, but like Omaha was there wasn't there a lot of factories in Omaha as well? Like,
yeah.
Like you had the stockyards, you had kill plants.
Yeah.
And but like it was a pretty like a heavy industrial area.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, you don't think of it a lot. When I got stationed here, I didn't even know where it was at the time. But I'm from North Carolina, so we'll slide over that.
Well, I didn't really know what it was until like you start researching history a little bit, and you're like, oh, Omaha was kind of a big, and then also like it's got to like the only black people in Nebraska live in Omaha.
I mean, it seems that way sometimes. But.
Well, I guess Lincoln, they're either on the basketball or the football team, and then the rest of the black people in Nebraska live in Omaha, but that like because that's where the factories were, and then when the former slaves migrated north, to get factory jobs, a lot of them were in Omaha, like packing plant or I don't know what the other factories there were, but I know like there's plenty of commerce just based off of the packing plant. Like
for sure.
All the fertilizer stuff, all the canning, just the tannery, whatever.
If I remember right, there used to be like a Campbell soup factory or something, I think, right. And there was a big beer. Was it Stroh's or something? I don't remember, but.
Yeah, I'm not for sure, but like, yeah. But all those Midwestern cities used to be like that. They're all on a big river, and and it was all based around either like coal, steel, or packing houses.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I mean, Pennsylvania was oil, though. I guess.
I think a lot of coal country up there too, isn't there?
I think
I've been there. I've been there once to get a stock trailer and nearly killed an Amish family.
I've only, when I was real young, I think we drove through a little corner of it into West Virginia. Was it right there in that Ohio, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, the Ohio River Valley area right there. Yeah.
And but like I remember going through the Cleveland. My first Major League Baseball game was at the Jake there in Cleveland, but I've never really spent any time in that part of the Midwest. But there are a lot of people who live through there too.
Oh yeah, we bought a trailer direct from the EB factory there, EB stock trailers, and went there to get it, and I was by myself, and it was foggy, and hooked up and ready to get out of there, and started heading down the road, and came around a corner, and there was an Amish buggy going down the road, and locked her down, and it was close. That's my only memory of Pennsylvania.
I like I said, just outside of just like cutting that little corner of it going into West Virginia, I don't remember much of it at all. And I've never been through. My little brother, the black one, the Haitian one, he went to had a cousin that was in Philadelphia, I think, and so he spent a little bit of time back there. But I spent some time in New York, and actually I spent a week on Martha's Vineyard, 2 or 3 different times, I think. And so like I've visited the East Coast a little, at least the Northeast, and from Massachusetts all the way down to DC. I've kind of been up and down there quite a little bit. Yeah. And it's neat to see a lot of fucking history through there. I'd like to North Carolina too, like that same way. You guys got a lot of history.
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of battlefields, all that stuff.
They had the fucking sequester cuts going on when we were on our honeymoon. So like that's when the government shut down and for like 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And didn't get to go see Fort Sumter except we had the boat around it.
Like, yeah, I've been there. I've been to that one. That was pretty cool.
I wanted to go, but no, the two asshole parties couldn't decide who was going to spend money. Yeah. So they shut down Fort Sumter when we were there in Charleston for our honeymoon. And like, you motherfuckers.
See, I was still in the Coast Guard then, so any military members wondering if they're going to get paid when that stuff happens, and
I remember that. Yeah, that's funny how the military gets, close to $1 trillion every year, but like your average, like your guy that's been in 5 years, made sergeant, is making maybe 30,000.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Military industrial complex is doing good though.
No. Yeah. The Rand Corporation's doing just
yeah, they're doing great. Record high.
And being like a military history nerd, and just like a guy that likes, like I'm not a gun guy, like I love guns, but like I'm not a gun guy, like I'm not gonna, I'm not a gun nerd, I guess, like
right.
I've got my 223 and I've got a couple 12 gauges, I've got a pistol, but allegedly,
yeah. But you lost them in a boating accident, right?
No, actually, fuck Elf. Come get him. I don't care. I have a right to him, and fuck it. But I'm not the guy that goes and buys all the ammo and all the guns every paycheck and knows all the details. Like I'm not that into it. Like I've got enough to where like I can at least put up a decent fight before, for a little while, anyways. but I'm also like I just rather not. I just punch cows.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that point, but I'm sure it was good.
We need them within like 28 foot, Well, I don't know how big of a rope you pack out there, but
I do. I've done both. I tied hard before, but I carry a 60 footer. Just because I don't know. That's what I like nowadays. It's kind of fun.
I keep meaning I need to try out one of them cottons. Never have.
It's probably not great in the summer because you guys get pretty humid out there, don't you?
Yeah, Yeah, we get some humidity.
I hear those cotton, at least the untreated ones. I don't know about the well, that guy that from North Carolina that was on the other night. He said he got one and he liked it a lot, but when it got wet, it was they're like swinging a cable.
Yeah, that's a wild deal down there on the coast, man.
That's crazy. That was a cool picture. That was
a hell of a story.
Yeah, and I guess in that deep of sand, I mean, they're gonna get tired pretty quick. So have a fast horse. That old steer's gonna tire out pretty quick.
Yeah. I worked a sale barn there, but it was on the other side of the state, so it was a little different.
Yeah. What's the average herd size in North Carolina? About
like 20, 30.
Just like a little small farm, family farm deal.
Yeah, it's definitely farmer for sure. No cowboy in it. It's bibs, and we're going to chase them with the pickup.
There you go. Just hillbilly shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
That's funny. It's funny how how those Southern guys will call themselves cowboy, and they're like, we got a different definition of cowboy,
Yeah, it changed for me. I mean, for sure. I mean the like I said, it was 2030 back there, and then the first feed yard I worked on out here. So my first experience, with Nebraska cattle was 6,000 head yard. And I'm like, holy shit. We went from 30 to 6,000. And then we go a little more west and it's 95,000.
Yeah.
The numbers are gaining.
Mm-hmm. Well, then we had, so and like where I grew up was sure enough, there's some cowboy outfits, but you get further west and shit just gets big and open because like it's just it just all the especially when you get into like Utah, Nevada, Wyoming, Idaho, like man, you're like Elko County shit, like every one of them ranches has like 10,000 head, it seems like. And
you cross the line at one point where it goes from the equivalent of an acre is a section.
Yeah.
And that's when it gets real.
Yeah, exactly. When they talk about sections or they just say the permit.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they're you're not talking in acres and parcels. You're talking in ranges. They're like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
Range and like it gets big.
But there is a point where cowboy and's cowboy, and I mean, like the guy I worked for at the sale barn back there in North Carolina. I mean, he's a flat out hand. He drags bulls for PBRs and stuff. I mean, he is a hand, and I guarantee you could take him. I mean, he could come out here anywhere you take him. He's a hand.
Yeah,
but then you got guys that think they're hands, and yeah.
I know I think everybody knows. Like, I'm thinking we're gonna have to like when we do this the formal debate, I'm gonna have to change instead of just making it puncher versus buckaroo, because anybody that I'd want to argue like the buckaroo side of thing or the puncher side of thing, they're also hands, so they're gonna realize like you're not winning this argument anyway, because everybody realizes it depends on how you did, how you grew up, what terrain you had, how and there's a reason for why people do everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so any guy that says like you should never have rubber on your horn, no, regardless of the situation, you're always dallying on slick, that guy's a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Same way it's like the only tie hard guy. Well, like, yeah, okay, go try trailing cattle off the mountain, and you got to rope something tied hard. Oh yeah, there goes your horse too.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like, yeah, anybody who's like that dead set on anything, you're like, no, you're a fucking idiot. You don't, because you haven't been around enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why there's buckaroo country and there's puncher country.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why those styles work and where they do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now the silver, that's just for show.
Yeah.
that's all just style points.
Oh yeah.
And typically the buckaroos have the edge on that because they it's a lot longer in between towns out there too, so they don't go to town as much, so they ain't got nothing better to do but save up their money for a fancy silver bit. So that's why typically more bling on their gear.
I think I like to think, I don't think I'm much of a hand, but I like to think I'm a mix of the both, just because of all the people I've worked with. I mean, the guy that really taught me the most of what I know, he was actually from Illinois, and I mean, he's a hell of a hand, but he cowboyed in Colorado most of his life. So
it's crazy. You can go read some of those old books, like the Charlie Russell books, and they talk about the the Great Basin guys coming up to Montana, or but the first cattle up in Montana were driven by punchers, but Teddy Blue Abbott, he was a Nebraska kid that went to Texas and then got the cattle and pushed them up to Montana. So like it's always been just a conglomeration of everything.
Yeah.
Like all the Californian and Mexican guys, they were buckaroo types. But so were the Mormons, because that's where they settled in buckaroo country.
Yeah.
And but then you had like all your sod busters that came from like the Midwest, and they had their style of stockmanship, but they kind of they did their own thing. And then Texas, I mean, Texas. Yeah, then you had the fucking Florida crackers too. Like
there's some sure enough hands come out of that country. I mean, like Adams Ranch down there in Florida. You ever heard of that one?
Which one?
Adams in Florida, Adams Ranch.
Is that the big Mormon owned ranch?
Yes. Well, wait. I think it is now. But yeah, I know which one. I know what you're talking about, but
it's got like 80,000 head of mama cows or some shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Then that's all swamp country too.
Yeah, we got some cattle from down there one time, and the guy unloading them, he was just joking, obviously, but he's like, we brought back the ones that the gators didn't get. And I'm like, where the hell did these come from?
There's some squirrely motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They and do you notice like when they hit the chute, every one of them just dives.
Yep.
Yeah, they
ain't made for this country though.
No. They too much surface area.
You start seeing that ear come off the truck and you know what you're in for.
Yeah, you're just like you want to get those about this time of year.
Yeah, this is perfect time for that.
Yeah, like you kind of try to hope for like a good 2-week period where they can build up some hair.
Yep.
And then they'll be able to survive like a late spring storm. And then they're finishing out come October.
But even this time of year, my non-expert opinion here, summer comes and we get dry and that dust, that feed yard dust starts hitting. They don't handle that well either.
No, they like some moisture.
Yeah. They like that humidity, that Florida humidity.
Yeah. They're different type of creature. Like you get the same type out of South Texas, like from like that like the Gulf Coast side of South Texas.
Right.
Yeah, and you just get like the straight humpback, silver Bramers. They're typically, well, they come from Texas, so everything's a little angry from Texas, it seems.
But they're not as bad as some.
No, but the straight Bramers are pretty tame compared to any of the crossbreds. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
You cross a Bramer with especially like Charolais, like the Charolais Bramer crosses.
They'll get a little heat to them.
Yeah,
and then nose color on the Charolais is also a dependent factor, it seems.
Yeah, like the darker.
Yep.
Yeah. They and Charolais are just naturally stupid, anyways.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I blame the French for that.
Gotta have something to blame them for, and that's easily top of the list.
I'll blame the French for a lot of shit, and I don't have a real good reason for hating the French. I just do. Just
because, that's all the reason you need.
Yeah, and I think that's about it. It's just like fuck the French.
Yeah, we'll call it good at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Charolais, they I will tell you though, like a smoky Charolais, like that's if you've got cattle on feed, that's the best breed. Is like a smoky colored Charolais calf that they put the fucking pounds on.
Yeah, and damn, they look good in a sale catalog too, though.
They really do, and they grade just well enough to hit all the premiums that you want. It's damn good meat, but like they don't marble quite like a straight Angus, but they're pretty damn close.
Right.
But they're also like 300 pounds heavier than the same size straight Angus.
Right. I think the worst thing I've ever dealt with was Herefords from Nevada. I think that's probably the worst I've ever seen as far as just coming in with heat.
Really?
Yeah.
Herefords are usually pretty docile.
I know, but man, we got a load in that was from out there, and they said they round them up with a helicopter, which I guess that can be normal out there, right? It's not out of the.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't know if it's all that common. I'd say probably more in like southern Nevada, like Clive and Bundy territory. Like that's pretty desolate down there.
Yeah.
Elko County, like it's pretty wide open country for sure, but it's a different type. It's high desert though, so it's not like southern Nevada still, I guess, high desert. It's still high enough altitude, but like it's desert down there. I mean, it gets fucking hot.
Yeah. What is the latest on the whole Bundy situation? What are they doing now?
Well, Ammon Bundy ran for governor up in Idaho. And I tell you, when I was driving through Idaho last summer, when we were headed up to Chalice, there was a lot of Ammon Bundy signs on the barns, but also it was a barn out in the middle of nowhere. So,
So who put it there?
Yeah, well, and also like, yeah, they may be supporting him, but like that's it. There's
Yeah.
nothing around either. So it's he didn't do very well. But I honestly I don't know what their situation is. I mean, they won their court case. Like the judge threw it out with prejudice, so they couldn't retry it.
Mm.
And I don't know. I think like I said, Ammon Bundy, he got arrested up in Idaho during COVID because he wouldn't wear a mask at his kid's football game. And
Oh, really?
And yeah, and of course, they make him out to be the crazy guy, which I think he probably is a little bit crazy. But
I mean, yeah, outward appearances would seem that way.
Yeah, but also like, how crazy is it that he wants to watch his kid play football and not wear a mask when he's fucking outside?
When he's outside at a football stadium, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know who's the crazy one on that deal.
Sounds kind of targeted.
Yeah, and also he's also kind of social media whore too. So it's but I don't know.
Man, that was a weird deal though. You had people flocking out there from everywhere that never even seen a cow. Half of them.
I know it was crazy, and then like they were all on board, and then all of a sudden Clive and Bundy would go off on some racial shit, and people like, I don't know that.
We're gonna backpedal now.
Like, well, maybe no, maybe not.
That didn't take much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was something else though, like that.
Yeah,
it was kind of a big moment. I don't know what the end result will be, but I'll they had a lot of armed feds there, like a bunch of them, and not that many people like armed on the other side.
Yeah.
And the guy that it was the Clark County sheriff was the guy that that eventually told the ATF to back down.
I didn't know that.
Or BLM, I guess. Yeah. And he's now the governor, so Joe Lombardo. So
gotcha.
But he is also in charge when the Vegas shooting happened.
The Vegas deal, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how
Dan Bilzerian came to save the day on that deal, okay? I mean, he was just a little too late.
I forgot about that deal.
Oh man.
He's up there he's got to be like top 10 biggest pieces of all time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Dan Bilzerian, what a douche.
Gonna run up to a cop during a shooting, during an active shooter situation, and ask for his gun.
Yeah. It's funny, we still don't know what actually happened there.
Yeah, no, I don't know that we ever will.
No, it's kind of like Kennedy. We were talking the other night, like the fact that they keep classifying it means that the government was involved.
Well, they keep telling you when they're going to release it, but then when they're going to release it, they just tell you when they're going to release it.
Yeah, they don't release shit, and you're just like, yeah. And so basically, it's like it's going to be like LBJ directly gave the order, or it was HW that like relayed the what if HW was the man on the grassy knoll?
Because HW was CIA at the time, right? Is that right?
Not officially, but yes.
Okay, gotcha. I thought that was right.
Yeah. And when they call him a World War II fighter pilot, he was not. He was a World War II intelligence pilot.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't sound as good.
No, but it was actually probably cooler. Like the fighter pilot just mostly got mowed down by a bunch of Messerschmitts, but the intelligence pilots, like they might have been flying a little Cessna on the Greece or some shit like that. Like they were doing some cool shit.
Right.
It's hard to not respect HW, but like also he shouldn't have been president. He was good at being like being the spook. He was real good at that shit.
Yeah.
But he was not real good at being like the deep state, I guess. I mean, I guess he was good enough at it. He held the position for a long time.
It worked for him. I mean, maybe not for the American people, but it worked for him.
Yeah, it didn't work out great for us, but so I mean, I can't say he wasn't good at it. He was good at what he did, but it's just what he was doing was fucked up.
Yeah,
it's wild. What a like if you look at say 1823, you just go century by century. 1823. Who's that? Was that Andrew Jackson right about in there?
I think that'd be right. Right in there.
Somewhere in there. So we had the Trail of Tears, essentially. Well, I guess we do have the internet at our disposal here. I'll look it up. President in 1823. James Monroe. Okay, so he was like the last of the founding fathers to be president. Was James Monroe? What did James Monroe do?
What did he accomplish? What was his great contribution?
He was the last president who was a founding father, as well as the last president of the Virginia dynasty and the Republican generation. His presidency coincided with the era of good feelings. Oh, I think he might have been like the guy that ran unopposed for president, maybe. Like everything was like they just beat the Brits in the War of 1812, and the North and the South were relatively getting along. So he just like coasted.
So yeah, he had an easy term.
Yeah. He all right. So as President Jefferson special envoy, he helped negotiate the Louisiana Purchase. Let's see. During Monroe's tenure as president, the Federalist Party collapsed as a national political force, and Monroe's reelected, virtually unopposed. That's right. So he was the Democratic Republicans. That's so like the old school. What is the Democratic Party now? And then there was the Federalist Party, and the Federalists, the Federalist Party just split up, and yeah, he like it wasn't technically unopposed, but for the most part, yeah, the Federalists didn't even have an actual candidate. I don't think.
If you look at the basis there, you see why it's basically one party now, too.
Right.
It's basically been one all along.
And all right. And so then I think Coolidge was 1923. I liked Coolidge. Yeah, Calvin Coolidge. And he was a hands-off president. But there was also a pretty big federal government apparatus at that point because, Lincoln was the first. Well, not the first, but he was the first one to really like massively increase the size of the federal government. Luckily, I think I've thought about it, but like luckily, he got shot and killed. Otherwise, the federal government may have like continued to grow from there.
Continue to expand.
Yeah, but it shrank pretty good because of well, no, I guess it didn't, because they still deployed federal troops all throughout the South, but it wasn't near like the Woodrow Wilson or the FDR expansion or LBJ, like those like hardcore progressive types. Like, man, they really, even Teddy Roosevelt, you know, he grew the size of the federal government quite a bit, trying to break up the beef trust and Standard Oil and all that shit.
So that's what sucks. Teddy Roosevelt did some cool shit.
I know.
But the progressiveness.
Yeah, he was and also a real war hawk, that guy.
Yeah. I got a quote of framed of Teddy Roosevelt's, but I'm like, man, it's a badass quote. The man in the arena, I'm sure you know what that is. But
yeah,
at the same time, you're like, oh, just look at the rest of it.
But also he had like probably the best foreign policy of all time, which was just like speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah.
And like he wasn't afraid to go fight a war. He liked that empire shit. But
he got shot during a speech and continued the speech, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he finished his speech. And it wasn't like 30 seconds later. No, it was like he finished the goddamn speech. Like, he was a bad motherfucker. But luckily for Teddy Roosevelt, we didn't have the military to go anywhere really besides Cuba.
Because if we did,
yeah, when Woodrow Wilson was there, we were fully industrialized, and all those big industrial players were playing ball with the federal government, and that's what Woodrow Wilson wanted, and also they created the central bank, so the government didn't have to go try and raise those funds. They could just inflate the interest rates.
They could just take them then.
Yeah, so then they could just bankroll that whole war, which butt fucked Germany, which led to the rise of Hitler, and World War II, and then
it was all downhill from there.
Yep, really went downhill from there.
I think we're still downward.
Well, we're It looks like maybe they're trying to wrap this Ukraine deal up, but like at this point, I'm almost like, well, are we gonna get our money back?
Yeah,
you know, it's like
it had a money back guarantee, right?
Yeah, we spent all this fucking money on there, and it looks like they're still probably gonna lose the Donbass, and we're not taking Crimea back from Russia. I
don't think that one's coming back. Yeah.
This shit ain't happening, man.
Yeah, I think
like
that one.
But I'm also at the point like maybe we should fight to the last Ukrainian, at least get our money's worth, you know, because if we're gonna lose it anyways, like fucking make them earn it. God damn.
I mean, they gotta need some beef by now, right?
You would think. You know, I was talking with Jeremiah Wilbur the other day. I was reading this book. I really recommend it. I don't know if it's a good book. It's not like a full endorsement of all of it. It's a good read. It's called Red Meat Republic.
Okay.
And it's well, where's my phone?
I think it's in my Audible cart right now, actually.
It's worth it. It's worth a read. Or if you have Scribd is or Scribd, whatever they call it. It's for free on there. So like if you're subscribed there, it's called A Hoof to Table History of How Beef Changed America. And now I just finished it today, and so when I did that first episode of of the history of the meatpacking industry. I had not read that book at all. I never heard of that book. But it's funny how I came to the exact same conclusion. Like, yeah, this country was built on beef.
For sure. 100%.
And at every single war, the beef industry concentrated a little bit more. and the like where we're at right now is almost identical to the time of the beef trust, like when all the labor unrest was happening in Chicago. And I really think, like, if the ranchers are going to affect any sort of change, it has to be on the safety side of things, and you have to get the unions involved. So you have to hit them from the labor front and from like the animal safety front. And honestly, I think the rancher, the feedlot guy, has like the higher moral standing. You know, they can play that high ground as opposed to the packer, because we're not killing the motherfuckers. You know, like that's not our job.
Yeah,
your job.
It's not on my back. Yeah, we're passing that one.
Very well, you motherfucker. But or like the whole country just needs to get really a lot more in touch with how their food gets to their plate. Yeah, because that's the biggest thing, is that disconnect. But if you look through history, there's always been that disconnect.
Yeah, like, and it seems to rise and fall with each generation.
Oh yeah. It's that whole cycle, like the hard men make good times make weak men, weak men make hard times make, strong men. Well, that whole thing. I mean, it's true. It really, and boy, we're soft as fuck right now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, I always joke that, this country wasn't founded by vegetarians, and you can't tell me it was. So it was founded by beef. I mean, beef built it.
Yeah. Well, and like even there was a couple of the founding fathers that flirted with vegetarianism, but not for very long.
Yeah, it didn't last because you know what? It wasn't sustainable. People like that word.
Like about Jefferson, like I think Jefferson's a brilliant man, and he tried vegetarianism, and he's like, nope. And he also was like, slavery's bad, but also I got this slave bitch over here. I'm probably gonna sleep with her. She's kind of hot.
Loose morals.
Yeah. I'll give Jefferson a pass on that, because he actually introduced a bill in the House of the House of Burgess there in Virginia. Is that what they called it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
To free the slaves, and they got shot down because, of course, they're like, no, fuck no, we like these slaves. And also, like, he couldn't free his slaves either. That was against the law. You couldn't, even if you owned slaves, you couldn't free them. So he was, I'll give him a pass for that. He banged one of his slaves, had a couple kids, also pretty rad, whatever.
So just typical politician stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to hate it in public, but behind closed doors, yeah.
Yeah, and then then he tried the vegetarian thing and decided he didn't like that. So, that shows to me that's a smart man.
It's hard to argue with a ribeye, man.
Fuck, man. We've been trying this Hello Fresh thing, like couple meals a week, because it's handy. Okay. It's got all of it there, and it only takes like 30 minutes to make.
Right.
And pretty good shit. Like, honestly, it's not bad. And it was supposed to come in today, but it didn't. So, and me and my wife both were expecting it to come in. I get home from work and I was like, oh fuck, I've got nothing thought out. You're like, nothing at all thought out. And so like I was looking through the freezer, and I picked up a chuck roast, and there was 2 packages of ribeyes underneath it, and I was like, oh, I thought I was out of steak.
That's where the ribeye post came from today.
Yeah, I was, because we were down to burger, stew meat, cube steak and roast. That's kind of what we're down to.
Scraping the bottom.
Yeah, and and cattle prices are high right now, man. Fuck. So, but yeah, I found those like 2 packages of ribeyes, and I was like, oh,
win. That's a definite win.
Fuck yeah! So we didn't eat them tonight, but like I know where they're at now, and like I'm gonna have me a steak this weekend.
That day is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I don't care what it's for. It can be a Holstein ribeye. It's still better than.
Dude, Holstein eats just fine.
Oh yeah.
Holstein will eat a lot better than some of them Southern cattle. I guarantee you that.
Oh, for sure. I got some Corianis out here right now. I think Holstein eat better than those.
Oh fuck yeah, Coriani make good hamburger though.
Yeah, can't argue with it.
Yeah. No, that the Holstein just takes so damn long to feed out. That's their problem. The beef quality is not the problem. It's the feeding them out.
It's the length of time and how dumb they are in between.
Oh fuck, they're stupid. Yeah, I'm stupid. God damn it. I also like the dairymen. They're a different breed.
Yeah, they can be.
I mean, when it comes to defending animal agriculture, the dairy industry it's right there with the poultry industry. It's hard.
That one gets tough.
It's hard to defend that, man. It's like
it gets tough.
When you can trace every single Holstein back to 3 different bulls in the United States, you're just like,
yeah.
If I'm gonna make fun of the royal family of England, I'm gonna make fun of these fucking Holsteins because there ain't any goddamn difference there.
No, not at all.
And shit.
But yeah, they eat good. They still eat good.
Oh yeah, they marble just fine, and just it takes you a while to get there. Just like the royal family, they take more of your money to get there.
Everyone that argues it though has never fed them long enough. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know it. I gotta take a leak, but let's call that for the main episode. I wanna ask your thoughts on like these crossbred dairy.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll do that on the Patreon episodes. If you guys don't like, because it could piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could easily. I'm pretty good at that.
But I wanna we'll talk about that because that it's an interesting phenomenon that's only about what 7-8 years old, something like that.
It's not very old, that's for sure.
Not very old, but it came to prominence pretty quick. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's we'll talk about it on the flip side. So
right.
You got anywhere you want people to follow you or whatnot?
I just do the Instagram thing mainly. That's I think it's just Rhino or just dang, I don't even remember what it is. Nah, we're good.
Hold on. I got you.
Just _Rhino_W. Yeah.
Yeah. Just Rhino W. Yep.
That's right.
There you go. All right. Well, go follow him if you want to. If not, don't. I don't care. We're gonna talk about crossbred cattle here in a minute. So, yeah. Go patreon.com/Burnin Daylight if you want to listen to this conversation and many more just like it. Also ad free, whole thing, live streams, and if not, appreciate you guys listening anyway. So Ryan, it's been a great conversation, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Now move your ass, we're burning daylight.
Rise up in the morning beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.